Hi there. Well, it's Wisdom Wednesday again, and we're going to be talking about difficult conversations. I am Ruth Sharon. I'm here with my husband getting over being sick, Jim Sharon.
Not quite over yet, but working on it.
Yeah. So this is part of the Heartwise Relationship Academy program. We like to bring these little 10-minute or so tidbits to you and hope you can engage in this content, write comments, send them off to your friends, learn more about what we're up to, and learning how to resolve conflicts peacefully. How do we do that? So I just want to normalize it to start. This has been a subject of my exploration since I was a 4-year-old. I remember looking at my parents and how they were talking to each other, and seeing that listening would have been more helpful, and then back and forth like they did. So we all are learning. We're all learners, and it's a very difficult thing. So normalize it for yourself. Conflict and difficult conversations are challenging.
Not only challenging, but inevitable. They're going to happen.
That's right. Unless we tiptoe on top of everything and never get into anything. Avoidance is
that closet gets awfully full then, doesn't it?
It does. So I think the basic tenet for me, and Jim and I will just bounce some of these basic tenets around, and then for the rest of the month, we'll go into more depth of different tools and techniques and processes. But basically, it's like these are skills we can learn. Well, they're not innate. Innate is the defense mechanisms and the survival. That's what's innate.
They're reacting, right? Instead of responding constructively.
Yeah. So we can learn these skills. And it takes a long time because we have old habits. And so there's a lot of patience being called for here to just slow the train down and see what you got. What is it that just went off there that felt so difficult? I have my story about it. You have your story about it. So, right. So how can we honor each other?
Yeah, I think that's a key term right there, is honor. And I believe it really starts with intention on both people's parts, right? Even one person's part makes a difference. But when both people have the intention to be respectful, so mutually respectful, another word for honoring, and then you can begin to engage with each other with the intention, again, to have a constructive discussion and hopefully a resolution. Maybe not in that moment. Maybe it's going to take another sitting.
Patience. Yeah, sometimes we don't get closure in one sitting. Yeah,
but to see the other as I'll use the term again, respectful partner who cares about you, as opposed to an enemy. So that come from really makes a big difference right there.
Very good. All right. So first thing is normalize it. We're going to have difficulties. We're going to have conflicts. We're going to have disagreements. It's inevitable, right? Second is we can learn how to have different attitudes and different skills. And third is we can see each other as partners in this, and looking at the conflict as the thing to address rather than each other pointing fingers at each other.
What's the issue, really?
Yeah.
What's the problem? That being the focal point.
Exactly. So you might want to slow the train down and just see, wait a minute, I just got triggered. What was that? Confessing I feel triggered, or whatever word you want, like, whoa, that really upset me, or how dare you say that, or what? Any of those signals, let people know that you're triggered. But if you start into you always and you never, and what's wrong with you, and it's your fault.
So it's I statements.
So that's another principle, yes.
Very different than the you statements.
Very different, yeah.
And the character assaults.
So how can we work together? How can we go, oh, well, look at this. We have a disagreement here. We have a conflict. Houston, we have a problem.
Well, to stay engaged. So it's very common for one person to be a pursuer and kind of come at it and strongly and want to get it done and get it resolved. And you don't leave the room until it is. And sometimes folks are withdrawn, they are distancers, and it's very difficult to want to hang in there. Again, if you have an attitude and approach of compassionate understanding, validating the other person, listening to them, then it's much easier to stay engaged. And what if it goes awry?
Well, wait a second. So if you're saying that one person might be I have to get it finished now, more aggressive, and one person needs time to process, needs quiet, needs to be left alone,
Mhm.
that can be so misinterpreted. And then we have a conflict about how we're dealing with the conflict. And then we have the
Yes,
guilt and the
which is
shame
very common.
and pile. And then we don't even know what we were arguing about to begin
All we
with.
got is escalation.
Yep. Yeah. So the fire can start pretty easily. So if I'm not managing my own triggers, I might get caught in it or withdraw. And as we know, the more someone pursues, the more someone withdraws. And the more someone withdraws, the more someone
Vicious
pursues.
circle.
Crazy making.
So there needs to be an agreement. One of the things that I find that people run into difficulty with is, when, especially in this pursuer distancer dynamic that we're discussing, is to, if there is tension and if it's starting to, before it escalates, one person can call timeout. And that means let's go into separate rooms and cool down, maybe even take a brief walk. I
And
think
check in what it is. Yeah.
what it is and when you're going to return. I'll be back in within 15 minutes, 20, or this is way too uncomfortable for me right now. I don't have the bandwidth to deal with it. Let's deal with it tonight, or promise by tomorrow.
Or I've got a hard deadline for Friday. Can we talk about it over the weekend? Let's each get clear on what it is we want to talk about. See, if we just are left hanging, a lot of times we hold our breath and we just wait for our time to attack or defend or whatever. But if we pull back and actually do the work, something got triggered in me. It's something core. And one of the other tenets is that the bigger the flare or withdrawal, the more core that value or principle is. It's something I really feel strongly about. So those big reactions may be misinterpreted. So learning how to see the reactions as, wow, that's something important to you. Tell me about that. Having that kind of wherewithal to catch ourselves. I know Jim and I go through this with our sports thing. That's been our contention lately because of it was March Madness, and now there's
baseball season started.
I mean, it's just like so many sports, and he gets so involved in it, and I couldn't care less. So I'm really challenged. That's not a difficult topic, so to speak, but it's difficult in that I'd rather be with him than have him watch the TV. I'd miss him. So, then it
And when she speaks it like that, just tells me what she needs and wants. I miss you. Then I'm like liable to say, "Oh, okay, I can make some space and time for you."
Aww,
in the third quarter for 10 minutes.
right? A timeout or whatever it is. Yeah,
We got a lot of things running here. I'd like to sort of get this focalized.
Go ahead.
So I'm trying to see what I wanted to say. We started out by saying it's really important to validate the other person's feelings, desires, needs. You also need to take responsibility for yourself. What is going on with you? And to be able to say,
with me.
Yeah, well, right, with yourself. Yes. So to look inside and say, hey, why am I getting so triggered? And that requires some vulnerability, perhaps an apology would be very much in order, and some transparency, to be open. Okay, this is what I'm experiencing. Those kind of things can be disarming. The other person's much less likely to take the offensive when you're really being honest about what's going on for you.
So you're making a very good distinction. These are the tenets of effective conflict management, the building blocks of what makes it work. So what you're talking about is taking self-responsibility and also having some listening and understanding for the other person. This is what we call Heartwise, is that ability to be autonomous and connecting. And that's not where everybody is. So there's a lot of messes that can happen in these things. So you're talking about how can we make, yeah. So we're going to talk about that in one of our other sessions about how to clean up the mess. I wrote a blog about it once. What was it? Clean up on aisle 9. How do you reconnect and clean up the mess? So we'll talk about that later. But you're talking about the basic principles, and one of them is also safety, this kind of safety and
Huge.
trust.
Huge.
You know, if I don't trust you, if I think you're the enemy and you're against me, I'm going to defend myself against you.
Right.
And so how could I see you as not the enemy? How could I see you as a person who has strong feelings about something?
Don't I look like an enemy to you?
No. You look like a tired fellow.
That's true.
Yeah, so we're just trying to lay the groundwork. So drop a few notes on the Facebook or Instagram page or wherever you're seeing this on YouTube, and just let us know what are some of your basic tenets of resolving conflicts in a healthy and productive way. And we're going to go through some of the how-tos and the processes and how to set agreements and how to build safety and trust. So we just wanted to drop in and say hi to you. So is there anything else you wanted to share?
I think that's enough for today, actually.
Yeah, we have a lot. We wrote a lot of notes. We
Yeah.
prepared. I wrote a book in the 80s called Conflict, A Way to Peace. And I'll have to bring that up to show you the diagram. It was like pointy conflict, and then there was this like opening and like a photographer's aperture, and it opens and there's a way through. If we engage with the conflict and hang in there, it starts to move and open, and we find the path through to peace. So that's what I'm about. Thanks for being here, and check out heartwiseacademy.com. and take note of the micro courses. There's a larger course called From Conflict to Connection.
Yeah,
And that is
Bloom's.
a powerful class. Linda and Charlie Bloom did a magnificent job explaining all the different pitfalls. They say they're recovering fighters. They used to fight with each other so much. So their newest book is called No More Arguing.
101 Ways, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
These guys have written 11 books.
Yeah.
Speakers galore.
And they're aged like us, married 50 some years like us. So yeah, just check them out. And actually this month we're doing a special. We have a gift to you. You can have that course called Winner 23, WINNER 23. This is the year. So sign up for the class and learn.
Let's also invite them to attend Wednesday, October 12th, isn't it? Yep. Our monthly Heartwise Circle. And the topic at this time is going to be difficult conversations. How do we navigate those? So you can sign up for that on our Heartwise page, www.heartwiseacademy.com.
And then you have to look at the drop-down box if you're on your computer for Heartwise Circle under events. But I think on the mobile one, you can see it, but it's called the Heartwise Circle, and it's free, and it'll take you to the link to register and get the Zoom link. It's all 7 to 8 p.m. Wednesday night.
Yeah, an opportunity to learn from one another. All right.
All right. Take good care. Thanks.